Hey everybody, this is your friend ECW fan. And, well, I decided to bring something back that I tried last year. It was called Pawnshop Pickups. And sadly for me, the lockdown happened and I never did go back to it. I never, I would pick stuff up from a pawn shop and everywhere and I was just like, well, it's kind of a shame that I didn't really go back to that. And with this haul, almost everything is from a pawn shop except the last item, which I used with my Gamestop points or my Gamestop card for July. So everything else over the last month has come from pawn shops, and I've always said you can find some great stuff there, great games, movies. I mean, people were putting a lot of stuff in pawn shops, and it's just amazing at what you can find. So for the last 2 years, I found a lot of good stuff, and I'm gonna go ahead and show some movies off, and I'm gonna show some DVDs first, and then we'll get to the games. Anyhow, one of the first things I picked up, movie-wise, in a pawn shop was Best in Show. Now, I don't know if you any fans out there of Christopher Guest. He's the director, and he assembled a ragtag group of actors like Michael McKean and Eugene Levy and a bunch of other good actors for a couple movies. He did Waiting for Guffman, and then he did the Mighty Wind. Now, I have a Mighty Wind, which is about folk singers, and it's just these wacky people, and they each take different roles in his movies. In Best in Show, it's about a dog show, and it's just fun, wacky stuff to watch. And like I said, I've always been a Eugene Levy fan. Right before his big breaks for Schitt's Creek. I've always enjoyed his work in SCTV and in these movies. But now I just need to find Waiting for Guffman, and that'll be, I think, the Christopher Guest movies. Now, another movie I picked up, and this ain't a movie, it's actually 8 episodes of the first season of this sitcom. Now, if nobody remembers, back in the 1990s, NBC and other networks would import some British shows over and try to make American versions. They have been doing it for the last 40 or 50 years. They've done it with All in the Family. They've done it with Sanford and Son. And those are the big successes. And there's always failures. And one show that was sadly a failure was Men Behaving Badly. And Ron Ellard, Rob Schneider, and Justine Bateman came together for this sitcom. And as a teenage kid, I was watching it and I loved it. I mean, it was just so funny and unique. I was like, I can't believe they're getting away with that. And even now, 20 years later, with the comedy, or 30 years later, with things so different now in this world, there's a lot of stuff in that first episode that wouldn't fly today. And it's a great comedy. Two roommates, I think it's Kevin and Jamie, live together. And they're essentially boys, more or less. They're they like Xena, Warrior Princess, and I love the sitcom, and it's a shame it's not the complete first season. It's just 8 episodes, but hey, I'll make do for $1. 8 complete episodes, and the whole series only lasted 2 years because behind the scenes issues was going on, and I don't know if Ellard and Snyder got along. I don't know. I just know that Ellard left the series after the second season, him and Justine Bateman, and then the show just went into the crapper. And I've seen some season 2 episodes. It's just not the same. Ellard and Snyder had that chemistry. They had that fun, joking chemistry. And 8 episodes, I'll enjoy it. Now, another movie that I got, and this one has 2 movies together at a pawn shop, and I was really happy to get this. For $1, I got 2 movies for one price, and it's actually Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2. Oh yeah, Wayne and Garth, baby. I always like that sketch. Pardon me, sir. Do you have any Grey Poupon? I might try to put that, I like that. That's pretty. I was happy to get this one. I think I have Wayne's World, the first one, so I could actually get rid of that one. Now, the last movie I picked up, and this is really nice. It was this. It's a Blu-ray. It's a Blu-ray, and I walked in the pawn shop, and it had just come in, and I looked for this one for a few years, and I forgot. I just let it go because I never could find it. And I was like, I'm not going to order it online. I'm not going to hunt it down. It's one day I'll find it eventually, and I just let it go. And finally, I found the Blu-ray of X-Men: Days of Future Past, the Road Cut. This actually has Rogue, the additional 30 or 40 minutes of Rogue scenes that was cut out of Days of Future Past, you know. But this is the Road Cut. This restores her character back into the series and has the full scenes. And I've always said this: the X-Men movie should have ended with this. This should have been it. This should have been the end. There should have been no more X-Men movies. Hey, it's over. It was great. But Days of Future Past put a bow on everything. It tied everything. But Fox was under pressure. They had to keep the rights at the time, and it was their main money maker. I mean, when Days of Future Past almost did like $700 or $800 million, and that was big back then. It was like, well, we got to keep this going. But it was just, there was no, once you do a big spanning flick like this, it's hard to really build to another one. And then Apocalypse wasn't as good, and then, man, that last one, man, it was awful. I told Eddie that was awful because they originally planned 2 movies for it. They actually planned with Dark Phoenix. They planned 2 movies. All of a sudden, the sale was coming, and Fox knew they had to end it. So they just did 1 movie and tried to cram all this crap back in like they did with Last Stand, and it just ruined it. Marvel, I can't wait to see what Marvel does. Now, moving on, I picked up a lot of good games for the PlayStation 3 and on this volume, and I was really happy with what I picked up. I picked up a number of good games, and I'm going to show them here, and let's go ahead and go through them. One of the first ones I got at a pawn shop was Layer. This is one of the launch games for the PlayStation 3, and from what I heard, the how you work the controller issues was one of the maddest parts about it. It wasn't that good. Another game I picked up, and the guy helped me with this one, and because I'm trying to get a PlayStation 3 collection, I'm picking up even the worst games at times, and I'm trying to build it. So me and him sitting there, and he's like, they had Disney Infinity, and Disney Infinity had, I've got 3.0, and I was like, I wonder if 1.0 would work, and we pulled it up, and yeah, it does work. I don't know how well, but he threw a bunch of these games to me because I bought games from him before. Another one I picked up, and this was the funny one, and I've got every type of game that you can imagine for the PlayStation 3. I've got bowling, I've got hockey, I've got football, basketball, baseball. Now I have a fishing game. Oh yeah, time to go fishing, baby. And weirdly, these fishing games are starting to go, because I was in Gamestop the other day, and Daryl told me he got an order for a fishing game. And he had, I think, this one or the next year's version, and I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He said, I've sold a couple of those fishing games up for the PlayStation 3. I was like, man, that's weird. But hey, the games, you'll be surprised what's really becoming hot for the PlayStation 3. You're sitting there thinking, well, why would that game be hot for the PlayStation 3? What's the deal with it? What's the deal with that? But now, one of these I picked up at the pawn shop, and it's all clean, and there's just one little mark. Everything else looks good on the game. I think the game looks perfect. I think it'll play perfect. And me and Eddie played this for the Xbox 360 that he has. He has this version for the Xbox 360 because I remember we played it at his house. Well, Eddie, I've got the PlayStation 3 version of You Don't Know Jack. And I can look at Eddie and go, you don't know Jack. Yeah, I have no clue what. Like I said, I'm picking up some games. They're cheap. Pawnshop has them cheap. Pick them up. And like I said, it adds to the collection. It adds to the collection of PlayStation 3 that I've built. I picked up a lot the last so many months at pawn shops. Hey guys, I'm back. I had to go run an errand. That's why this video looks a little different. Maybe it's a different setup, but yeah, I had to go run an errand, and I've got some games to finish off from the pawn shop over the last month. And one of these cool games I picked up was Disney Universe. And at first when I saw this game, I was like, Disney Infinity? And I was like looking at it, I was like, this ain't Disney Infinity. It's Disney Universe. It's a kid's game. It's got Stitch. It's got somebody, inside a Stitch costume. And I started flicking through it, and it's got some unique stuff to it. I mean, we can just look at it and see. Like, this little mini poster's in it. It's this little poster. And this might have been Disney's attempt at a launch of trying to do Disney Infinity, because you can see right here on this, there's costumes and stuff that you can buy from the store. And, because it's about this. Money, son. Microtransactions, costumes. It should be unique. I've never played this kid's game, so we'll see. And like I said, I'm hunting games down for the collection, and I've never seen that game. I've never seen that game anywhere. And I saw it in the pawn shop. I was like, let me pick that up. Because if I ain't seen one before, I'm picking it up. Another game I hadn't seen before, and I'd seen one of these other games for it. It's called Monopoly Streets. I hadn't seen this game for the PlayStation 3 until I went to the pawn shop, and I was like, I'm gonna pick that up. Now they had another Monopoly game back years ago at one of the Gamestops. I should have picked it up for the PlayStation 3. It was a regular Monopoly game. But I put it back, and I was like, if I ever get a chance, I'm gonna find either Streets or that version. So this was kind of cool to pick up. Now, this one to me was really nice, and I like finding combo games, and this is kind of unique. I've got two of the games on the PlayStation 3, and I've got one on the PlayStation Vita, I believe. But this is Assassin's Creed: The Americas Collection, and at a pawn shop, for the price I paid for these 3 games, at least 2 of these games are full games. This is really nice. I mean, it's got, like I said, it's got the booklet and everything. It shows all the 3 and 4. So that's kind of cool. And I'm very happy to pick this one up. I believe Liberation was on the Vita. I believe I have that game. I'm not for certain. I have to look in my Vita collection of games. And, some of these games, when I've been collecting over the last couple months, and like I said, I look at what Radical Reggie picks up PlayStation 3 wise, and I've seen his videos, and I actually discovered a new YouTuber called The Right Way, and he's pretty cool. I like how he's showing off the games. He goes hunting, and that guy's got a heck of a collection. I'm very envious because he's got the Splatterhouse and Azor's Wrath. He's got a bunch of good ones, and I would love to find those, and maybe if I get lucky I can. And piece of fuzz on my opinion, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get lucky. Let's move on. Pawn shop wise, I picked up Operation Flashpoint, and I thought this was a racing game. I thought this was, because there's 2 Operation Flashpoints, and one of them's a racing game that I got, I believe. This was Dragon Rising, which is a shooter game. So it's really weird to have 2 titles that's almost the same. One is a racing game, and one is a shooter. Now, this is the one I saw from Radical Reggie's channel for a long time back, and I was like, man, they made a game of this? And seeing this in a pawn shop was kind of cool. I was like, man, I'm gonna pick that up. It's NCIS. Yes, it's based on the TV series. You get out the cast of NCIS. It's pretty unique, as you can tell. Um, I don't know if this is good or not, but it's kind of weird to see these TV games like this, these games based on movies and stuff, and learn that these people are half this cast is gone. Uh, he's gone, she's gone, uh, that lady's gone, and I think maybe this other guy's gone. But I know that I think only two or three of these characters is left on the show, so that's kind of unique in a way. Now we're getting to the good stuff. The last two big games that I found, which shocked me to this day, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they was in a pawn shop, but we're gonna go ahead and show them off. We're gonna show off Iron Man 2 first. And I've been looking for the Marvel character games like Spider-Man and Iron Man and uh, Hulk and Captain America. And I believe Action Vision and Sega had licenses to do these games. Some were terrible. I've always heard some of these games were terrible, and it's just a fact of life. These games for the most part, they're just based off the movies, and they're rushed out to capitalize off the movies, and that's how it was with Nintendo back in the day. They would base games off the movies, and they 99% would be awful, as the angry video game nerd would show, like LJN. But with this is I don't know how good this is going to be. They do have a nice little download code in there for the mock uniform, but in reading the fine print, it actually expired, I think, in 2012 or 2013. So that's kind of, I was like, crap. I couldn't use the code anyway. Whoever had the game before done used it. So that's the thing about these games these used games is you can't use the codes. They're already used. Now moving on, I picked up the last one was one that shocked me. It was Silent Hill in a pawn shop. Silent Hill Homecoming. And my goal is I'm going to eventually get the Silent Hill games for the PlayStation 3. I've got Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 4, the room for the PlayStation 2. So eventually I'm going to hunt down these games. I'm going to hunt down these games for the PlayStation. We'll see. Now, that was all from the pawn shop. That was it for the last month. Last month, like I said, that was a good haul. I was really happy with what I picked up at the pawn shop. I'm just throwing this out here because I picked this up at Gamestop, and I had my card with my coupon, and I was surprised I don't have part 2 of this game. I've had part 1, and I've really become a big fan of Dragon Quest 11, and it's really a good game. I haven't played the whole series, but that Dragon Quest 11 is really good, and it's long. It shocked me that part 3 still was keep going. Because I quit like at 150 hours into the game, and I had done beat all the major bosses, and I had done saved the kingdom and all that stuff. So I found Dragon Quest Heroes, the first game, and I was like, oh, that's a spin-off. And I found this one, Dragon Quest Heroes 2, in GameStop. I was like, I'm going to use my card on that because I need 1 and 2. So it's kind of nice to have a Dragon Quest Heroes game. It 1 and 2. So this is the Explorers Edition. And it's likely, like I said, any codes or anything in here is done expired, done been used. And when I first opened it up, there's a code here. I do like this though. I mean, they was really thinking ahead. Square is. I mean, Square is really like, okay, we know you have this code. We know you want to use it, but you're busy. This code doesn't expire until 2027, February or April 25th of 2027. But it's done been used. It's a used game, so. But I did like that. I like that. That's kind of cool in a way. It's like, well, they're going to make sure you get to use the code. But yeah, that's it. I'm very happy with what I picked up at a pawn shop. As a collecting collecting this system. It's kind of been cool the last 6 to 7 months. I've been building up the collection more and more. So I do want to thank you for watching, and until next time, just keep on gaming, baby.